Namaskar, my friends, and welcome back to the Force Niyama podcast. Here we delve into the vast subject of Iyengar Yoga with the most senior direct disciples of Guruji B.K.S. Iyengar. Some time ago, I interviewed Sri H.S. Arun, a senior Iyengar Yoga teacher from Bangalore. Arunji generously shared his greatest learnings from more than 40 years of studying and teaching yoga. He also offered a lot of guidance to practitioners on how to approach their asana practice to maintain the balance of mind and evolve as human beings. However, after the interview's release, both Arunji and I realized that the recording quality wasn't great. Listeners had to put in a lot of effort to hear what was being said in many parts of the interview. Therefore, we've decided to make a new interview, a bonus episode, with far better audio quality. In this chat, we focused on junior Iyengar Yoga teachers, the challenges they encounter when beginning to guide students, and how to address these challenges. Arunji provided practical advice for junior teachers on guiding beginner students, who at times may bring resistance to their learning process, not following teachers' instructions properly. We also discussed why it is important to approach every asana with a fresh mind and what a young teacher should be careful of to not get carried away and fall from grace. For today's chat, I shared with you three major questions. Let me start with the first one. It is about students who are new to Iyengar Yoga practice, and sometimes they unknowingly bring resistance to their learning process during the class, for example. They're not following teachers' instructions properly, and it takes time for them to submit to the teaching and then learn. And this resistance may happen for various reasons. Some may have a wrong idea of what asana practice should be like. What would be your guidance to a junior Iyengar Yoga teacher in handling resistance from students during the class and effectively guiding such new students?
Oh, thank you. First of all, we don't get students in our classes. We get only customers type and client type. So if you get students, they will always be the teacher. And sometimes even we don't get teachers also, we get instructors. So we have to think about these two aspects: client, customer, instructors, students, and teacher. So two categories. So unfortunately, we have only customers, clients, and instructors. We don't get teachers. So that's true that people, the people or the person who comes to yoga class, he has his own ambition, either to reduce stomach, to reduce waist, to reduce only upper arm, to reduce only the facial cheeks. They don't come to learn anything. They want only customer made some movement, some exercises for their condition. Or they will come only for medical class where they have knee pain, back pain, or acidity, or blood pressure, or diabetes. So with this intention they come. So when they come, we are as a what you call as you open the studio or you open the school or you open the institute. So we are going to give some relief for them. So even there, when they come the to the institute, the first question of how many months it will take to cure, or how many weeks it will take to reduce my weight. So these are all the things which we as a teacher we face it. And not only as you asked, people who are already learned from other part of system, like maybe Anusara, maybe Ashtanga. In fact, yesterday a young man came and then he stood in front of me and said, the way he stood, I thought it was looking for me. He's suffering from his backache. But then he said, I wanted to talk. Please go ahead. No, let the class finish. I said, no, you can talk. So he said, yeah, will you teach some anatomy? What do you mean by teaching anatomy? I'm not a anatomy teacher. I'm just teach yoga here. Then he came to know, no, I do Ashtanga. Then I said, did you do Kurmasana? and took weight on your back. He said, yes, that's the problem because the stance is still saying, showing me that you are suffering from backache and you have a severe problem. So there is no proper guidance for them. Just go and do it. Then when they suffer, moreover, they are so much what you call addicted to those type of movements. So when they get addicted, so they see the asana can't be given as a tablet. So if a person has a problem, if we give a sequence, they have to follow for a couple of months. So when the muscle gets a little strength, or when they understand what you're trying to help them, then it may help. They want to do kurmasana again, plus they want to do therapy. This can't go. They don't understand that. It's very unfortunate. So like that, people will come in that sense. So, oh, I don't want to use props. Okay, don't use it. So I will ask them to do it. So then when I say Sthirasukha Asanam, so then they can't stay in the boat. Definitely they go to the room and pick up brick or a chair. So it takes time. It takes time to understand what you are doing. Even in our what do you call in our system. So when for example, if I'm asking them to do Trikonasana, so the approach is so egoistic. They don't want to use properly. For example, if I'm saying keep the brick vertical, because I want to keep the brick vertical to work at the same side shoulder upwards. They usually they drop. That's why when you keep a Trikonasana, if you just hold your ankle, you can't hold the pose for a longer time. So the movement will not be on the it will be on the lifted shoulder, but it will be on the left hand, not on the right shoulder. So that's why you use the brick to press the palm on the brick and move up so that they get that both the shoulders evenly because everything is samatva or evenness. So if the left side shoulder is so active, why the right shoulder is not active? We have to question ourselves. So then my plan, because you are asking how to plan, how to conduct a class as a beginner teacher. So then I don't disturb their ego. My instruction is the first instruction. Those who are flexible, keep the brick vertical. Those are not flexible, keep the brick vertical. That's it. Then they will understand. So that's how I manage. For example, if one more, we in our system we don't do our after backward bend, we don't do forward bends. There is a reason behind it. So when they don't understand that, because they already practice the other system, they do it. So they do Ustrasana, oh bend forward. Do Urdhva do Paschimottanasana. So how to control them? So we should say that they don't. No, it hurts me. I have to do it. Then what I do is just I change the plan. So like I say, like we use some simple word like gati vichedanas, change the speed. So like in a way, going in a vehicle, so you just change the speed. You can't always go fast. So that's why. So now what I do is, if they are doing Ustrasana, my instruction is so fast and so strong, they will not bend forward. I think, come on, you already bent forward. Now interlace your fingers and take your arms up. Then I don't allow them to bend forward at all. So without disturbing them, I finish all my backward bend with all this understanding. Then I give one twisting, a passive twisting, and then maybe a forward bend. If forward bend, even for me, forward bend can be Ardha Halasana, not even Paschimottanasana or Jani Shasana. So this is how one has to control the beginners or those who come from other school of arts. Of course, it needs an experience to develop the technique which will not disturb them. First, we have to know what we are teaching. What we are
Mm-hmm.
teaching. Is it an exercise or is it an asana? If it is an asana, you have to make sure that we are teaching asana. Asana is Sthirasukha Asanam. Sthirata is stability, and Sukhata is pleasantness. So if if you're coming to learn asana, it is the same way. To hold the pose, you need the block. So it's the block will help you to preserve the energy. Otherwise, if you don't use block, you get fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
So asana, for example, okay, Sthirasukha Asanam, the muscle should not move in an asana. When it's done asana, it's not an exercise. So when you are done asana, there should not be any movement. So as we say, yoga is chitta vritti nirodha, that is chitta is consciousness, so which has mind, intelligence, and ego. So that should be regulated. So the variations or fluctuations of usually they say mind. The same way in an asana, you have to regulate and stop all the movements of the muscle. Muscle should you have to hold it for a length of time, not just go on doing it. Then it doesn't become asana, it becomes asana kriya or activity, or as people say, yogic exercises. It's not an asana.
Yes, this is a big difference. And
No, even I am finding it difficult because the same reason people come from other part of the city or other part of the school, and then they don't understand. So what because they have one has to be intelligent for how to handle these people, these type of practitioners who come from other school of thoughts. And sometimes Guruji used to say, people doesn't know what they want. Most of the time they're confused. And in fact, Gita used to say, no one is a student. So all they want, they come here just to grab things, gather things. So instead of practicing, they gather things. That's it. They're gatherers rather than practitioners. That's why many times I say that what I give class or what I share is only for you to practice, not to teach.
so, well, what do you think students, beginner students who, let's say, came with certain expectations, but then something has changed in them and they say transform to devoted students, and some people who came suppose with the same expectations, they did not what these people lack and what these people miss, yeah, to progress in their practice and to shape their mindset of what the asana practice should be like.
So first of all, it is because people are ignorant. They don't know. It depends on our television, Instagram teachers. So what they show in the TV, what they show in the Instagram, so they think that's yoga. So with that intention, they come. Either they see that yoga is helping for reducing which okay, it may help, they go there. Or they come even here. Or they go to some other place. So it all depends on how yoga is promoted. So there is no serious learning. Yes, few people come. In fact, I'm very happy that we do have people with me from so many years, like 40, 45 years. They are with me. It's like a family now. So they get upset, they will be happy, everything happens like in a family. So it takes time. So you are asking about the teacher, what the teacher or what they have to do. So they have to practice just not just yoga asana. So they have to practice the Maitri friendliness. If a person is practicing friendliness, then that is really practicing yoga. So nowadays we lose it because the friendliness is not there at all. So we comment on each other, we judge each other. So who is superior, who is inferior, what they have learned, what they are not learning, we go on commenting on them. But the moment you practice Maitri, all these negative thoughts will go. So you'll be to your own self, with your student, you will teach him. The more you practice, the more you share, the more you get things, the more you get knowledge. So one should be student always, not just teacher. So that's why every day is a fresh day for a teacher. So if I go to class in a few minutes, I'll go with a fresh mind. So maybe I may be teaching the same in morning Trikonasana, evening Trikonasana, but it give me a pleasure. So the morning teaching will be different, evening will be something different. So
Oh.
I may do Trikonasana like 45 minutes. Only Trikonasana 45 minutes using so many props to understand the pose, understand our own practice. So practice should be always there, not mechanical practice, not emotional practice.
Always with a fresh mind and always
Yes. Not
explorative.
if you are narrow-minded, you can't learn. So that's the main problem now. Even they go with a particular way. So that Guruji used to say, had to break the habits. So we had to break the habits sometime. So when you are stagnant, when nothing is moving on, we think, oh, Trikonasana is boring. Standing asana is boring. Then you have to see why it is boring. And we have seen that many people like they teach Trikonasana morning. I mean, they practice Trikonasana an hour in the morning. They give two classes, the same Trikonasana or same standing for the evening. It's too much for a yoga teacher to do that. So even in my book, I mentioned that if you're practicing morning standing poses, don't teach the same. Because yes, if you may not be practicing with the student, but your eyes will see so many people doing the same. The mind will see. So that's also an exhaustion. So well, instead of that's why we say that we have to plan the sequence so that you will not get tired, you will not get any injury. So planning the sequence is also important.
Moving on to next major question, which is again an advice to a junior teacher. So I know that you are teaching groups composed exclusively of women, and you are guiding them through their specific women's health issues. What is your guidance to a junior male? I want to highlight here to a junior male yoga teacher who is learning to teach women groups and help them overcome their health issues.
So a male teacher has to transform into female teacher. That's it.
Once again, a male teacher has to.
Transform himself as a female teacher. So you have to understand the women's issues. Most of the time, it will be psychological or psychosomatic. So how to help them? As I say, I give stories. So Guruji came here like 1986 for the installation of Patanjali idol. For the student, he said, and for the teacher, he said two things. If you are a teacher, you have to allow your students to do. It's not that you know under instructions you are going to give instructions. It's not the instruction part. So if you are giving some instruction, some hint, some thought, your student has to follow. If it doesn't follow, your teaching is gone. If I am seeing the student's teacher is saying the student left shoulder, he should know that something has happened to the left shoulder. He has to correct himself. Even the teacher should be the student should be very sharp to see and understand. It's not just listening. He has to see and try to understand. Sometimes a teacher may not give any instruction. He may give a technique. But the student has to understand why my teacher gave me this instruction for me. Why not others? So that's why this study is not just practicing. So we have to study why my teacher said you have to turn your right foot completely out. The teacher that day might have seen that his pelvis is not moving. So you have to understand why the teacher did that type of instruction. If you don't understand, then you can ask the teacher. First, you have to do it. Then ask the. Sometimes the teacher gives instructions or suggestions with his intuition. So if you ask immediately, he said, I don't know why I gave. Sometimes the teacher will not be knowing because that time the something appears on his brain, on his mind, on his intelligence, on his intellect to teach like that. So that's why whenever we go to great teachers, so I forget I am Arun. I forget I travel so much. I forget what I am. I'm only Arun as a student in front of a great teachers. If already say, oh, I know I can do this, then I will fall from the grace. So student, teacher is always student. And student sometimes teach lesson to the student, a teacher. That's why I'm so much eager in each day to be in front of students to learn from them. So for a young budding teachers should be very, very careful, should not get carried away with what you get or what the student get, what the teacher get that time. You may get fame, you may get name, or some you might have treated backache. So the student might have, the patient might have to, oh, you're a great player, you're wonderful, you are one more, or a doctor for me, you are changing my life. Don't get carried away. Just accept that because it's not you or it's not me. The technique that this thing is given by the great teachers. And the great teacher also might have gone from the great teacher because of their practice and practice with the depth, they have understood the subject, then they are giving it to you. So you can't get carried away with all these things.
Yes, again, coming back to yamas and niyamas, you have to stay humble.
Humble,
Yeah.
that's the important. So in Sanskrit,
Mm.
we say Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Vidya is knowledge. So the more you try to, the more you learn, the more you become humble. As Guruji used to say, take any one part of yama or one part of niyama. That's enough for your practice, not even an asana. Can be saucha, can be santosha, can be sapa, can be swadhyaya. The same way, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, any one you take it, then you can become a good human being. The whole purpose of practice yoga is to become good human being. So not so easy.
Not
So that's why
easy at all.
yeah,
Continuous effort.
that's why we take little what you call a practice of asana. So trying to be little what you call healthy in that sense is not for our physical strength to show off our muscular strength. It's internal thing. So to see, we say that yoga is practice to purify the body, purify the mind, to purify the chitta. That's what Patanjali gave us. So if a person says that if he's practicing yoga, then all these three should be there: purifying the body, purifying the mind, and purifying our the thought. Is not the speech or grammar. So the person who is highly what you call qualified in the practice of yoga, the filthy words will not come from his mouth. Yoga is not bodybuilding; is a character building. In South American countries, I used to tell them, so the ego is so much for us. It is like a big sandia. Sandia is watermelon. So the more you practice asana with the mind and intelligence, then your sandia becomes a small one. I was in Bangalore and my student went to see Guruji and Guruji said to him, mentioned, your teacher has a lot of ego. He comes
Mm.
to Pune and then he just watches and then he goes away. So I was so troubled by his statement. I thought I am the most humble person in Iyengar Yoga community. So I went to Guruji's because those times we used to have we were able to meet Guruji in the library around 3:34. People like me used to visit him because we used to get tea also, good tasty tea. So I had tea. So if any questions or becoming even with silent with him, could have explained few things. Because there, all of us have that ambition. So I went there. So before leaving, I touched his feet. Guruji, I'm leaving. Then with the folded hands, I told him, Guruji, I came to know that you said I have a lot of ego. No, Guruji, I don't have any ego. The answer was beautiful. He said nothing. He put his fingers on my face. That's it. Saying I don't have ego itself is a big ego. That's it. So it's not so easy to come out from ego. Everyone has ego. Even the small kid, it has jealousy. The small infants, they have ego. So by practicing with little part of everything may help to become a good human being. So forget about becoming a yogi. It's a it's a long way to go. So there is no hierarchy. Oh, I am the good teacher, good. I'm a fantastic teacher, senior teacher. Everyone the same. One on the same. There's not much difference. Someone commented, "Oh, it's very difficult to get good student." I said, "No, there's no bad student. There can be a bad teacher, not a bad student." For example, if I'm unable to teach a person, it's not nothing to do with the student. It's because of me. I don't know how to teach. It's a bad teacher, not a bad student. Sometimes we become so egoistic. We even shout at people. You don't understand. If you don't understand, that you should respond the teacher to make him to understand. Coming to the point, Guruji is come down to your student level in teaching. That's it. What a
Mm.
great man. Come down to your student level in teaching. Why are you giving so much instructions? You are not an instructor. You have to teach.
What is your opinion on encouraging students or like praising a student, not necessarily in the excessive way, but let's say during a class, a student finally managed to understand or access a difficult action that before was a problem for him. Is it okay for a teacher to encourage and praise a student, or a teacher should rather avoid doing this?
I know where it is coming from. That's right. I know what your where it is coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we appreciate the art, we appreciate the music, we appreciate the dance. So like that, if some a person is doing a wonderful practice, I will appreciate. But if the person shows a the way if it shows it's a little ego in it, then that I no appreciation then. I have seen many times that when the person goes with the egoistic approach in his practice, he will get a lot of injuries. So the ego will be more than intelligence there. And yes, so it is commonly said that if you praise your student, it shows that you are praising yourself because you taught him. That's why he's doing. That's why the ego goes on. For me, I don't think in that sense because I give credit to the great teacher who gave the art or science or yoga for me. It's nothing to do with me. It's only I am just a messenger of the great teachers who gave little thing to me. I am just passing it on. When I pass it, if it touches the, I'm a delivery boy. I am a Zomato or Swiggy or whatever. I just deliver. If they like it, they continue their practice. They continue enjoying the food.
Well, we've touched a few aspects of a role of a teacher, of a yoga teacher in the modern times. But if you could summarize it,
Yeah.
how do you
Thank you.
see how do you see a role of a yoga teacher in modern times, and what is really a role of a teacher in the context of yoga and life?
See, if you think about teacher and a student, the teacher should be a model in the sense the character, the practice, the teaching. So everyone, the student will want to see everything as in a teacher. So that's why we have to have some principles, some yamas and yamas in our practice. Be humble and then be truthful. So sometimes we're not truthful at all. So we know our limitation, but still we try to do certain things which is not good for the community. So making fun of ourselves, fun of our own practice, fun of everything. We are not qualified to do certain things. Making a few asanas in public places. They are making fun about our practice. So these things one should do. One should avoid. Then saying that, oh, you practice yoga with me, I will cure the diseases. Who are we to cure the diseases? Oh, you can reduce cheek, you can reduce 20 pounds in a month. These are all aggressive marketing. Is it possible to reduce weight? Do you know why they have put on weight? Is it due to lifestyle? Is it to hormonal imbalances? Is it genetic? We don't know. So how can we treat a person in a month or two all these problems? So that's why I say one should be truthful. One should be very truthful on this. You show what you are, but what you are not, please don't show that. That's why I said better to be humble all the time. Give credit to the God, give credit to the great teachers who has given what, as I said, those given these things for us. As you said, humbleness, politeness, softness, gentleness. So not be harsh. So don't do drama in yoga. Fun. No, it's not fun. The whole life is to purify yourself.
If there is anything more that you would like to add or to share from my side, I just want to say thank you, and I deeply appreciate the opportunity to speak to you, and I'm very honored to have you in the podcast, and happy that so many Iyengar yoga practitioners would get to hear your story and your teachings and insights.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share my experience in the yoga community. So thank you very much for that. So that's it I can say.
Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this interview with Sri H.S. Arun. I hope this episode will serve you as an inspiration in your yoga practice and support you in your own study and discovery of the self. See you in the next episode.